Vicente Luque versus Belal Muhammad 2, the rematch, takes place this weekend in the main event of UFC Fight Night Vegas 51, Luque versus Muhammad 2, and I can't wait for this rematch in the welterweight division. It's a big one. Number 5 in the world, Vicente Luque versus number 6 in the world, Belal Muhammad. Originally, when this fight was made, I considered it maybe as a title elimination bout, but I do not consider it that anymore. I think the winner of this one is probably going to take the number 4 spot in the welterweight division, above Gilbert Burns, who recently lost to Khamzat Chimaev. If Burns would have beaten Khamzat Chimaev, there would have been a real chance that this would be a title elimination bout in the welterweight division. I just don't see it happening. The winner takes number 4 in the rankings, and the winner of this one gets their title elimination bout. The winner of this fight is likely going to call for a title shot, but oh well, they're not going to get what they want. But it's a really good matchup nevertheless. Really, really big matchup in the welterweight division. It's not the same fight that it was before. I know in the original contest that they had with each other, Vicente Luque sparked out Belal Muhammad in the first round really, really easily. One of his easiest fights of his entire career. Just destroyed Belal Muhammad within, I believe, the first 2 minutes of the first round. They were both exchanging on the feet in the first. Belal Muhammad was throwing a couple of shots. Luque landed a good shot. Belal Muhammad tried to continue the combination to get the better of Vicente Luque with good volume. Luque landed a left hook right on the chin as Belal Muhammad was kind of going for like a body kick or a head kick to finish off his combination whilst he was on one leg. Down goes Belal Muhammad, out cold. Luque sends him to the Shadow Realm. However, since that fight, both guys have been in really good form. They've made it to the top of the welterweight division, and this is a very different matchup now. I think Belal Muhammad's going to win this rematch. I've got a feeling about it, okay? Because listen, I understand styles make fights, and maybe Luque just has Belal Muhammad's number, but I think recently Belal Muhammad is actually looking like a pretty good prospect in the welterweight division to do quite well, even against some of the top guys. I think he gives nightmares to Colby Covington in terms of his style. Good on the feet, good volume, good boxing. I don't think he's going to get KO'd against Covington or anything like that, and he can stuff the takedowns as well. His takedown defense is one of the best parts of his game. However, recently, his grappling offense has been proven against guys like Stephen Wonderboy Thompson, and I know a lot of people are going to give praise to like Gilbert Burns in his level of grappling that he has in the welterweight division. I mean, he was able to fend off Khamzat Chimaev and give him enough to worry about on the ground to where Chimaev didn't really want to grapple with him too much. But other than that, Belal Muhammad did better than Gilbert Burns against Stephen Wonderboy Thompson by far. He dominated him on the ground, almost finished him on multiple occasions. He's gotten a lot stronger. He doesn't have the most power in the world, so I don't see this being an early finish in any way for Belal Muhammad. If this fight is finished in the first or second round, it's going to be by Vicente Luque in my opinion. But as it goes on, which is very important here because this is a 5-round fight, as this fight goes on, I reckon Luque is going to be in a little bit of trouble against Belal Muhammad if he can't get him out of there in the first 2 rounds. And I think Belal Muhammad knows that. He's going to be very patient in the early 2 rounds, not trade with Luque whatsoever, try and play the outside game. And I think if he does a little bit of high volume on the outside, he's going to have a lot of success against Vicente Luque. Now, Luque is very good. He's got good submissions when people try and take him down. He did it against Michael Chiesa. Chiesa was on top of him doing a bunch of good stuff. Eventually they scrambled. Luque escaped a bad position. Sinks in the dash choke, puts him away. A lot of good submission attempts when people tried to shoot on him. I think in the first Nico Price fight, he had a nice dash choke, flipped him over, finished off the fight there as well. Luque's got really nice submissions, but I think Belal Muhammad's going to play the game of just overriding the brain of Vicente Luque by mixing in stuff on the feet and then shooting underneath. So where he maybe got clipped by hanging out at the end of a combination with Vicente Luque in the middle of the octagon, trading with each other, I think this time it's going to be they're both throwing in combination, and in the middle of that combination, Belal Muhammad's going to blast a double leg and put Vicente Luque on the mat. Now, maybe Luque will stuff those takedowns early on or get back up if he does hit the ground when Belal Muhammad shoots these takedowns. However, I think Belal Muhammad's going to keep doing that for 5 rounds, and I don't know if Luque can keep up with that pace, defending takedowns, working his way back up from on the bottom, and also dealing with the volume on the feet of Belal Muhammad. If there's one thing that Belal Muhammad has improved on, if there's many things, sorry, his takedowns have improved massively, his striking has improved massively, his striking defense has improved as well. I think that Luque's going to have a lot more trouble finding his chin in this fight. I don't see Luque finishing him in the first round whatsoever. It's going to be a decent scrap, and I think if it is a decent scrap, as the fight goes on, I'm leaning towards Belal Muhammad's volume and cardio because, again, Belal Muhammad's body is completely different. Like, he learned how to do push-ups in the middle of his 30s in his career. I don't know what he was doing before. Like, maybe he wasn't working out early on in his career, but now he's really learned how to do push-ups and stuff as a pro athlete and top UFC welterweight fighter. He just randomly, miraculously learned how to start working out and getting in shape, because clearly something's changed in his body type completely. He looks a lot stronger than he was before. His body looks completely different. He's got spots all over his back. His muscles are way more defined than they used to be. Maybe it's just like he's got the money now to pay for a nutritionist and a strength and conditioning coach, and he's having a lot more focus on him in his gym compared to being like the guy who's the training partner for everyone else. Once you make it into the top 10 of the welterweight division, your gym starts focusing a lot more on you. So maybe I'm reaching with the steroid accusations here. I just know that Belal Muhammad has really changed the way he looks as an athlete in the middle of his 30s, and also he's gotten a lot better technically as well, okay? I think Belal Muhammad gets this one done as the fight goes on. People keep telling me that Luque is going to destroy Belal Muhammad. I think there's a part of this game where some of the top guys are worse than some of the bottom guys, and you don't know it until that changeover happens, in all honesty. I know we didn't just see that with Khamzat Chimaev versus Gilbert Burns, but with Luque, Woodley was on his way out of the sport. He ended up losing to Jake Paul outside of the sport. He's now basically completely done at any level of high combat sports, high-level combat sports at least. Michael Chiesa was doing very well against Vicente Luque. Made a mistake, got dash choked. It happens in Luque fights. You can make a mistake and wake up a couple of seconds later wondering what happened. He puts him in a dash choke and finishes him off in the first round. I just think Belal Muhammad can keep a lead on Vicente Luque using that pressure and volume, because it wasn't that long ago where Luque was getting beaten up by Nico Price, and just a year later Nico Price looked absolutely shockingly bad against Alex Oliveira. Like, I really think Belal Muhammad's got a great matchup for himself here. I don't think lightning's going to strike twice for Vicente Luque. He's one of my favourite fighters of all time. No, he is my favourite fighter of all time. Simple as. Vicente Luque is the most consistently entertaining fighter pound for pound in the history of the sport. Simple as. Like, that's just how it is. There's no argument about that, in my opinion. This guy goes out there and goes to absolutely entertaining fights every single time he steps in the octagon. I think Belal's going to beat him with volume and pressure and just make Luque not know what's coming his way. And if he doesn't know what's coming his way, it's going to give Belal Muhammad lots more options to mix things up. And it's going to have Luque hesitant on the back foot the entire time. And also, there's 5 rounds. I believe this is the first 5-round fight of Vicente Luque's career. I know Belal Muhammad hasn't gone 5 rounds either, but he has been scheduled for 5 rounds, so he's experienced that sort of experience that he's been in there in a main event, in the big moment against Leon Edwards when it's all on the line. With Vicente Luque, I think he's going to maybe overthink going 5 rounds. He's a guy who throws a lot of power early on, goes for a lot of submission attempts early on as well. I think that style is obviously not perfect for going 5 rounds. You're like an early starter that way, but I think Belal Muhammad's going to finish him off here. Belal Muhammad's striking defense has gotten a lot better. I know he got clipped by Leon Edwards with a head kick, but a lot of people don't seem to remember that Leon Edwards fight too well. Like, Edwards stuffed a couple of takedowns early on, fair play, but like, they were going tit for tat on the outside. Leon Edwards landed a head kick, landed a couple of follow-up shots when Belal Muhammad got slightly rocked by it, and then they went back to going tit for tat, and then the second round started, and Leon Edwards landed the eye poke. Like, people keep mentioning stuff like, you're silly, man, Leon Edwards was slaughtering Belal Muhammad. I reckon if that fight continues and we get into the later rounds, fair play based on what we saw, Leon Edwards would likely be the winner. But I don't know about that. Leon Edwards really started to slow down against Nate Diaz, and that was a very slow-paced fight. I think in a higher-paced fight that he was having against Belal Muhammad, maybe Belal Muhammad would have been able to make a bit of a comeback as the fight went on and have some success. I think his calf kicks are going to be a big weapon here. I think he knows what he's in for against Luque. He's going to be hesitant early on. And I think if he can survive that first round, he's going to have a real good chance of beating Luque. Because, again, pressure, volume strikers that put it all together have a lot of success against Vicente Luque. Nico Price in the rematch, I know he lost, but still. Brian Barberena, I know he lost, but still, like, these guys had a lot of success against Vicente Luque, and I think Belal Muhammad is the level above those guys to not throw that lead away the way a Nico Price or a Brian Barberena with their wild style would do. because they can't help themselves but get into a brawl. So they're ahead of Vicente Luque. In their mind, or in a veteran's mind, they would just cruise to a decision and win that fight anyway. But they still try and make the brawl happen. Like, realistically, what was Barberena doing swinging and trading with Luque with 30 seconds to go in the third round when he'd been winning the entire third round and all he had to do was survive? Belal's not going to do that. I think he's going to play the game, mix in the grappling, and I think Luque's going to be overwhelmed with what to deal with and not be able to get off. Simple as. Good matchup, though. The winner of this one, I don't know what's next for them. Honestly, Vicente Luque really fumbled his career quite a bit, in my opinion. I'm a big fan of him, but if you remember recently, I think it was for the Burns and Usman fight, or maybe the Covington-Usman rematch that they had, or maybe the Masvidal-Usman rematch. Vicente Luque was the short notice replacement, and he missed weight for that as well. Really bad for him. Really, really bad look for him, because if he would have made weight, we know the UFC likes people that make weight on short notice. Look how much it benefited Michael Chandler's career in terms of what treatment he got within the UFC. Luque missed weight, and I think it fumbled his career potential here, because if he made weight, you could argue that just a win here would get him that next title shot. But I reckon the winner of this one is likely going to be taking on the loser of Usman versus Edwards. If it's Leon Edwards, you get a rematch between Vicente Luque and Leon Edwards, and you can justify making that matchup with Luque rather than giving him a title shot as well, because maybe, you know, Luque, you got to beat the guy that's already beaten you first. It makes sense. They can sort of use that as a negotiation power to make Luque want to take that Leon Edwards matchup. And also, if you want to do Leon Edwards versus Belal Muhammad too, that's got a bunch of storyline as well, and I'd really look forward to that matchup. So the winner of this one versus the loser of Usman versus Edwards, maybe that happens in July. I don't know what's going to go down in the future of the welterweight division right now, to be honest with you. It's a little bit of a logjam because of how long we're waiting for Leon Edwards to get his title shot for beating Nate Diaz, a guy who was not ranked in the division whatsoever. And that's how it is, unfortunately. Good matchup, though. I doubt the winner of this takes on Sean Brady, but the loser of it, maybe if it's Belal Muhammad more likely, let's say Belal Muhammad loses this weekend, I guess we could see him versus Gilbert Burns. That'd be a decent one, maybe. I know I matched up Gilbert Burns with Shavkat versus Magny winner, but I would also like to see him versus Belal Muhammad. If Belal Muhammad were to lose this weekend, that would be pretty cool. And that's about it from me. I reckon we see a first round that's pretty competitive, very slow-paced, both guys picking shots on the outside. A second round where things start to pick up a bit more. Belal Muhammad gets a takedown out of nowhere. Luque has to defend. They're against a cage. Belal Muhammad's kneeing him in the fire. Luque separates. They start again. They start trading. Belal gets another takedown. Luque stuffs it, has a dash choke attempt, which Belal escapes, and then they're back up on their feet against a cage again. Luque separates. Belal takes him down again. Luque separates. Third round, the same thing. Belal gets hit with some decent shots, but he takes them, starts landing some decent shots back on Luque. Now that Luque's expecting the takedowns to come, the takedowns come when he's not expecting it. Down he goes. Good takedown from Belal Muhammad. Luque works his way back up against a cage and then gets taken down again. I just think Belal Muhammad's going to have way better grappling, be way stronger than he was in their first matchup. And in the fourth round, I think Luque's going to get a little bit tired, a little bit worn out. Belal Muhammad's going to have good top position, take a dominant position on the ground now because Luque's not getting up as quick as he was in the earlier rounds. Take the back, land some big shots on Luque. Luque gives up his neck. Belal Muhammad puts in the rear naked choke and wins. Also, again, I don't want to mention this again, but I will. I don't want to go into the black magic and the judge that might be in this sport, but there hasn't been a main event underdog win since Ngannou beat Cyril Gane, and there's an argument to say that maybe he shouldn't have even been the underdog in the first place. So if there's going to be an underdog main event win, I think it's this matchup for Luque, a pressure, volume striker who can grapple and mix it in as well. Seems to do good against him in the past in versions of Nico Price and Brian Barberena. I don't see him winning this one. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. I want Luque to win. I reckon Belal gets it done. Click that button up there. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye.